Hi, good evening, Auron. Bishop here, back with the Glittering City of Gold Mission Dungeon, Lufenia Plus. So, in case you were wondering where's the latest chapter, Lufenia, I have not actually figured that one out yet. I'm still struggling with it. But that's why I decided to take a little break. We're going to do this one here. If this thing is helpful for you, please consider liking and subscribing to the video. I appreciate it because I'm really hoping that the videos that I make, people are able to use and get some usage out of them. So, as you can see, we're going with Jecht, Porom, and Auron, and I got to say, one thing, I got a feeling there's a lot of ways you can do this. The orb is going to be good. I like this one because of the ignore defense here. So I'm starting off to try to get these guys set up, and I get some really good use on a turn order. This team's not bad, but I gotta say there are some things you gotta watch out for here with this. One thing I will say, I still have not yet greened anybody yet, but with as much trouble as I've been having with the Chapter 5 Lufenia, I just have not figured that one out yet. There's a lot of teams that have done it. It's been surprising considering the different ones that I have actually beaten without even a BT, how I'm not able to beat it yet. But I'm still working on it. Eventually I'll post that one up here with that. But I got a feeling the greens are coming, so I can't say it hadn't been a heck of a run because I wanted to, my honest goal was to make it through just the first 2 cycles without greening anybody, and I've made it through, I think it's 6 or 7 now. I don't remember. I think 7 cycles without greening anybody, and so I got to say it's been pretty good. But the turn counts are starting to get a little bit tighter, so I got a feeling that the greens will be coming out soon. Actually, just like I said, I haven't beat Chapter 5, so everything going up to here was set up. I got a really good place on the turn order here. So I was thinking, man, I got 15% down before they even got a turn. I was like, that was great. I was hoping forward to get as much damage off of these guys as I could, and really being able to push these guys back, because as the match goes on, as the level goes, these guys just get stronger and stronger with what they're doing. So you can see I'm running a lot of Beast Rush, not really as much Jecht Slash as I can early, because that's how I'm kind of delaying here. So I got to think, if you're bringing a delay team, that would just probably, pushing these guys back into the shadow realm would really, and just having to deal with the 2 thresholds would really be impressive to push these guys back and avoid, because there's going to be one time here that the HP nearly gets me with this. So I was going with Jecht just because of the firepower, because I'm usually getting a lot of crits and some extra turns. Auron here because he ignores defense. And Porom for last stand, and the battery gain. So it's definitely a battery gain team here with this. So as you can see, I've been jumping a lot, watching, checking what my buffs are, because that's one thing I want to make sure I don't do is have anybody fall off, especially the Sentinel buff. That was the one I was worried about the most, and then also checking some debuffs here because I wanted to make sure I could stack some defense down here with that. So right now I'm just going with the Kurosame Call for the HP damage up. Now right here was when I was a little bit worried here that A was really going to hit me, but I knew I had enough with the HP was going to be, I was going to be all right with that within. So I was like, all right, let me push back with the HP and be able to get that guy knocked back with that. But what I was starting to get worried about was really watching the buffs, because I wanted to make sure that those buffs were on for the recast, but I wanted that recast to be as close to 50% as I could. So right here with B, get it 65 and only having one more turn left on those buffs, I was like, oh my goodness, they all that good work I had early, they just sped way up here and got their way back to get a whole bunch of turns here with that. Because like I said, I was really hoping to get those threshold attacks down at 50, because that's when they cleanse, and I didn't want to have to reapply anything at the very beginning. So that's why I'm being hyper aggressive here with trying to get breaks and pushing these guys back. So that's why I'm focusing so much here on, so that's why I decided to go with it here to try to get that break there on B to try to push him back a little bit more, use the Jecht Slash on him. So I'm feeling a little bit better now because at least I got him down to 58 and used the free one there to push A back a little bit more. So I knew I had a threshold attack coming. I wanted to make sure. So that's why I throw the HP damage resist up, and then wanted to make sure I had the debuffs for I Brave and M Brave on that one. So that's the nice part about Auron's counter debuff, because that thing will really, it'll add your HP damage up, which is very helpful here, especially with all these guys. So I was trying to remember if I needed to use Twin Conviction, if I needed to use Porom's LD there with that, because I knew I was fixing to get another recast that evidently I couldn't get. I had forgotten to use. I did something with Sentinel. I need to go back and take a look and see what I did, because I thought I had Sentinel on him, or on Porom, because I didn't think she was going to eat it. But I was like, okay, good. I'll have. At least I've got Party Last Stand, which will actually come out and help me a little bit more here at the end. So you can see now, basically they've cleared off the debuffs on basically setting them all back up here. And so once we get everything back up and get the defense up, and I needed to do it then to get Twin Cast up, that's when I was looking here for the Twins, because I decided to go with the Twins when they, so I'm going right here with an EX to, again, try to push these guys back as much as I can with that. So I'm trying to set it up here. I was hoping I was going to get a break there in order to get a free turn out of it. So, but since I got the extra Jecht turn there, I was like, all right, let's get the Twins in here. And so that's where I'm going to let the Twins go to work here. We got Kurosame up. So I'm going to protect the Twins since I got an all attack coming, because that's the one thing I didn't want, was to have that turn around and jump up and bite me in the behind. So I was debating here. I was like, was I going to be able to get the turns in? Because here was where I was, the big concern was, thankfully. And I've yet to figure out why that thing wasn't doing any HP damage with that. I have to admit, I have to go back and look at that one. So, but I figured, you know, hey, I got HP damage resist. Let's go with that one. So right now I'm kind of debating. I really didn't want to use my Auron LD, but I was really scared here. Now this is the reason why I went with the Twins, because I said with two of them here, I was going to be able to get just a ton of damage with what I got. Now I didn't want to chance it here where Porom might take two back-to-back HP attacks. So that's why I went ahead and summoned here. I was wanting to wait so I could get the Twins in, you know, get the Twins in and out a little bit more. Unfortunately, this Mega Flare, it's not going to do a whole lot, but, you know, hey, that's what you got to do, because the turn order didn't come out my way. Now, you notice I hadn't put my Jack Seat call ability on here yet. Big mistake on my part. I'll be rectifying that here momentarily. So I was debating whether or not to just go ahead and HP attack. I wanted a battery to let the Twins really come in here and get some damage, since I missed out on the last one. Because, you know, 1.5 million damage out of a friend, I can't complain about that with what we had. Especially because I didn't want to bring him in for Auron. That's one thing. If I could have brought him in for Jecht, that might have been the one thing. But, or bring him in for Auron and let Jecht BT with him in there might have been something a little bit different. But I thought this one worked a little bit better. So that actually was there to try to split those guys up a little bit more, because I knew I was going to be able to get a break, which thankfully that was able to work. So now I'm actually was worried. It's like, okay, good. And I remembered here, let's get, that's what I said, let's get the defense lowering down because I'm fixing to bring Jecht back in, and I'm going to need that because, boy, one thing I learned from Jecht's Lufenia, that is just not an easy thing to do when you have no defense down on that. That is something you really got to watch out for on that. So here starts coming the rough patches. So I was actually debating I should have used my Jecht Slash recovery there. Wasn't thinking quite too much because I was like, ooh, I wanted to use Beast Rush here, give me a little bit more room, so that's what I did. But that's why I should have used my Jecht Slash recovery and then used my Beast Rush, then my Kate Sith call. So I had just a little bit more here, but you know, it turned out I was okay. So, but I was kicking myself here, especially, I was like, I have to go with it now, because as you can see, B just got so many turns that he ran through that Kurasame buff. But this was what I planned on doing the whole time anyway, was basically trying to hold off on the burst as long as possible to get these guys down as close as possible for that. So I had to summon just a little bit earlier than this. I can imagine with a green Jecht how much damage you could have done very easily with that. So it was quite impressive what I was able to do with a non-blue one. So I was holding off here as long as I could on that last tornado. I was like, I got to make sure I get as much of that cover on as I can. So with the cover coming and the recast coming up, I was like, okay, I got to make sure that Auron can cover this when that thing goes after Porom. So that's where I was debating. So I wanted to make sure, let's get Twin Cast up one more good time. Make sure I have that buff up. And then, like I said, right there, I cannot figure out for the life of me why in the world Auron was not covering that for that one, especially after reapplying. So the only thing I can think of is that there had to have been one of those framed buffs that I was having a rough time with. All right, so here's where I'm starting to figure out. It's like, oh man, I'm in trouble here. So I was like, all right, let me use that free one on this. And then so I was like, I need more room to be able to get rid of B, because Porom was gonna, I knew Porom wasn't gonna get hit, but I didn't want to risk it for the orb. So thankfully here, Jecht's LD took that guy down, because I still to this moment could not figure out what I was doing. All right, so I thought about going with the break, and so I was like, well, let me go with the free turn here. So I ended up getting it there. I was like, man, I was worried about this guy, so that's why I was like, oh, at least I'm gonna get crits here. Got a decent amount of damage, even though that thing didn't have any debuffs. That was to make sure that Porom had plenty of HP, because I had no clue what the HP requirement was. So I white walled because I figured this guy was going to come in with two very nasty debuffs, or two very nasty attacks. But thankfully, Porom did the job with that. So you can see, not bad. 57 turns. There's the team. Like I said, I got a feeling the greens will be coming soon. Just simply because, like I said, the turn order is starting to get a little bit too far back. So, but hopefully this was helpful to you. You learned something, you enjoyed it. Please consider liking and subscribing, and please consider commenting, because I appreciate any constructive feedback about my gameplay or my commentary. So hopefully I'll be showing you the Jecht video soon. I actually got to beat it first, and then I think they set Franz up for Chapter 5, Part 2. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. See you in the next one. Bye.